Welcome to Chanel, your go-to space for deep insights and personal growth. Have you ever encountered someone who seemed like a dream come true at first? She's charismatic, radiant, and carries an energy that fills the room with ease. But as time passes, you start to notice something isn't quite right. Maybe it's the constant drama, the lack of accountability, or the obsession with surface-level things rather than meaningful connections. Slowly, you begin to wonder, how did I not spot this earlier? Let's be clear, this is not about judgment or criticism. Stoicism is about self-reflection, wisdom, and embracing the journey of self-improvement. It's about identifying patterns and behaviors that might be causing friction in your life, while also understanding how to grow beyond them. Recognizing these signs isn't just about keeping toxic people at bay, but about ensuring you're not unknowingly slipping into those same habits yourself. Whether you're a man looking to avoid unnecessary emotional chaos or a woman striving for true self-mastery, today's episode is for you. We'll dive into 7 powerful signs of a woman who might be sabotaging her own growth according to Stoic principles. You won't want to miss this. Let's dive deep and discover the path to a wiser, more empowered you. Ready? Let's go. Sign number 1. She values looks over substance. Imagine this. She steps into the room, effortlessly stunning, hair flawless, makeup perfectly sculpted, and a wardrobe straight off a runway. Every step she takes is filled with poise and purpose, like she was born to be admired. In that moment, she seems to have it all. Beauty, confidence, everything you'd think a person would need to have it all figured out. But as you begin to talk, something feels off. The conversation stays surface level. It's all about the latest trends, the number of followers she has, or how much attention her selfie got. She's more concerned about being perceived as successful than actually working toward anything meaningful. The more you talk, the more you realize there's nothing deeper than that outer layer. This kind of behavior is exactly what the Stoics warned against, finding your worth in things that are temporary and superficial. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." In other words, what you focus on shapes who you are. If your thoughts revolve solely around how you look, then that's all you'll ever be, just a reflection. Now, taking care of yourself and feeling good about your appearance, that's healthy. It's about self-love and respect. But when your appearance becomes the core of your identity, that's when things go wrong. Beauty fades, fashion evolves, social media trends disappear, and if your whole life revolves around how you look, what happens when the mirror starts to change? What's left behind? True wisdom lies in understanding that real value doesn't come from appearances. It comes from the person you are inside. It's your character, your kindness, your integrity, the way you treat others. Because at the end of the day, the most beautiful part of you isn't something you can capture in a photo. It's how you carry yourself when no one's looking. And believe me, there's nothing more captivating than a woman who knows her worth isn't skin deep. Sign number 2. She avoids taking responsibility. Here's where things take a turn for the worse. When someone is overly focused on appearances, the last thing they want is to be seen as wrong or flawed. So what do? They dodge accountability like it's a game of survival. Nothing is ever their fault. It's always their upbringing, their past relationships, their toxic environment, or just bad luck. You try to call her out on something, and suddenly you become the problem. "If only you had been more patient, more understanding, more whatever," she'll say. Sound familiar? You're dealing with someone who can't or won't take responsibility for her actions, and trust me, that's a dangerous path. Because without accountability, there's no growth. If you don't admit something's broken, how can you fix it? And when someone keeps blaming the world for their problems, they're essentially saying, "I have no control over my life." Think about that. That mindset isn't just foolish, it's disempowering. The Stoics had zero tolerance for this way of thinking. Epictetus put it perfectly. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. That's where true power lies. Wisdom comes from owning up to your mistakes, learning from them, and using those lessons to improve. People who do this rise above challenges. People who don't stay stuck in the same patterns, trapped by their own excuses. A woman who avoids responsibility isn't just hindering her own progress. She's pulling everyone around her down too. You'll constantly find yourself trying to fix problems she created, but won't acknowledge. And guess what? You'll never win. No matter what happens, the blame will always shift away from her. But a woman who possesses true strength? She owns her choices. She doesn't make excuses. She makes adjustments. She learns, she evolves, and she grows. That's the kind of person who thrives and builds something lasting. And when you meet someone like that, you'll realize there's no comparison. Sign number 3. She cares too much about others' opinions. If avoiding responsibility wasn't enough of a red flag, this one takes it up a notch. When someone refuses to own their choices, they often let others dictate their decisions. Everything she does, what she wears, who she dates, where she works, what she shares on social media, comes down to one question. What will people think? Not, is this something I actually want? Not, does this reflect my values? Just, will they approve? And let's face it, social media has only made this mindset worse. She's not living her life, she's performing it. Every outfit is a statement for the gram. Every vacation is a photo op to show the world. Every relationship is crafted for public consumption, a curated highlight reel to earn likes and validation from an audience who doesn't really care. She's obsessed with scrolling, comparing, seeking approval. And the worst part? It's never enough. When you live for validation, you'll always be chasing it. There will always be someone with more followers, more admiration, more attention. And if your self-worth is tethered to what others think, you'll never truly be in control of your own life. You'll always be at the mercy of strangers' opinions. Marcus Aurelius nailed it when he said, "We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Think about how absurd that is. You're stuck with yourself 24/7. You know your thoughts, your dreams, your struggles, yet a random comment or judgment from someone who doesn't even know you can send your confidence crashing. That's not power. That's being a prisoner to external expectations. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with listening to feedback from people who care about you. But there's a huge difference between valuing constructive criticism and living solely for approval. A truly powerful woman doesn't need permission to be herself. She moves through life based on her own values and purpose. She doesn't need a round of applause to know she's on the right track. Because at the end of the day, the only opinion that truly matters is the one she holds of herself. Sign number 4. She's emotionally unstable and overreacts. Now things take a turn for the exhausting. When someone's entire sense of self-worth relies on external validation, what happens when it's not there? When life doesn't go according to plan, they lose control. Imagine this, a tiny disagreement, boom, it turns into a full-blown argument, a minor inconvenience, and suddenly the whole day is ruined. She swings from euphoric highs to deep lows with no middle ground. And the worst part, you never know what you're going to get. One moment, she's laughing, everything's great. The next, something small sets her off, and you're left thinking, what just happened? It's like walking on eggshells. One wrong word, a misunderstood text, or a moment of silence too long, and suddenly you're in the doghouse. And if you try to calm her down, good luck. Logic goes out the window when emotions are in control. The Stoics considered this kind of emotional volatility a weakness. Seneca said it plainly, "A man is as unhappy as he has convinced himself he is." In other words, happiness and peace are choices, not products of circumstance. It's not about what happens to you, but how you respond. When someone lets every little thing control their mood, when they can't separate emotion from reality, they're not living, they're just reacting. Let's be real. This kind of emotional roller coaster doesn't just drain the person living it. It drains everyone around them too. It creates tension, turns relationships into constant battlegrounds, and forces you into a never-ending cycle of damage control. You're always trying to fix things, but you never get a moment of peace. But a woman with emotional intelligence, she doesn't let every little thing throw her off. She takes a step back before reacting. She processes, reflects, and decides whether it's even worth her energy. That's where true strength lies, self-control. A woman who masters her emotions isn't just in control of herself. She becomes a force to be reckoned with. And trust me, nothing is more powerful than a woman who knows how to keep her emotions in check. Sign number 5. She's obsessed with money and status. This is where things get dangerous. When someone lives for external validation, where do they usually turn for approval? Money, status, material possessions. It's never enough just to be happy. They need to look successful. It's not enough to have a good life. They need others to see it and praise it. Ever met someone who bases their entire self-worth on what they own? The designer handbags, the flashy shoes, the extravagant vacations, not because they truly value them, but because they need these symbols to feel valuable. If she's not posting about her latest shopping spree, does it even count? If she's not being envied, does she even exist? It's an endless cycle, because there's always something newer, better, shinier. And here's the real question. If she's with you because of your wealth, your status, or the lifestyle you can provide, ask yourself, what happens when that changes? What happens when you lose it all? Do you really think someone who values what you give her will stick around when it's gone? The Stoics had a sharp warning about this mindset. Epictetus said it perfectly. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. The more you crave, the more you're enslaved by the chase for more. The more you chase, the more trapped you become in the cycle of needing to impress, to own, to accumulate. And that's not freedom, that's imprisonment. A woman obsessed with money will never find true satisfaction because she's not looking for meaning. She's chasing more luxury, more attention, more recognition. And in that pursuit, you might just become a tool for her to climb higher. But a truly wise woman, she values experiences over things. She invests in meaningful relationships, not superficial transactions. She knows real success isn't measured by a bank balance, but by the strength of one's character. That's the kind of woman who will stand by you through thick and thin, not because of what you have, but because of who you are. Sign number 6. She constantly seeks validation. This question mark. This is the root of so many of the issues we've discussed. When someone doesn't know their own worth, they'll spend their life chasing proof of it, and trust me, it's exhausting. You could tell her she's beautiful 100 times a day, and it still won't be enough. She'll need to hear it again and again. You could give her all your attention, all your affection, but the second you get busy, she'll start questioning if you still care. It's a never-ending cycle. Deep down, she's not really looking for love. She's desperately searching for validation, and that's a void that can never be filled. It shows up everywhere. The constant selfies, the carefully planned posts, the obsession with how she's seen. If her picture doesn't get enough likes, it's deleted. If someone else gets more attention, she's suddenly insecure. Every compliment, Every "you're amazing" moment gives her a fleeting high, but like any addiction, the effect fades quickly and she needs more. Let's be real. We all want to feel appreciated. That's human nature. But there's a big difference between enjoying recognition and relying on it to feel whole. A woman who constantly seeks validation isn't living for herself. She's living for the approval of others. Marcus Aurelius put it beautifully. Stop debating what a good man should be and just be one. The same applies to women. Stop obsessing over how others see you. Just live with integrity, and the rest will follow. True confidence isn't loud or needy. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't require constant reassurance. A truly powerful woman validates herself. She knows who she is, and she doesn't need anyone, whether it's a man, social media, or society, to constantly remind her. She just is. And that's what makes her truly unstoppable. Sign number 7. She refuses to reflect and grow. This question mark, this is the worst one of all. Because every other flaw, vanity, emotional instability, materialism, can be changed if someone is willing to grow. But when someone refuses to reflect, refuses to learn, and refuses to even consider that they might be wrong, that's a dead end. A foolish woman avoids self-reflection because she's terrified of what she'll uncover. She keeps herself busy, scrolling through social media, binge-watching shows, gossiping about others, anything to avoid looking inward. Because if she ever stopped and truly examined herself, she might have to admit that the problem isn't always someone else. And that's a scary realization. But Marcus Aurelius lived differently. He made reflection a daily habit. Every night he'd ask himself, what did I do well today? What could I have done better? Where did I fall short of my values? He wasn't chasing perfection. He was chasing growth. Because wisdom isn't about being flawless. It's about having the humility to improve. And that's the difference between a wise woman and a foolish one. A wise woman looks at herself honestly. She admits when she's wrong. She's willing to learn, adapt, and grow. She doesn't make the same mistakes over and over because she's actively working on becoming better. But a woman who refuses to reflect, she stays stuck in bad habits, stuck in toxic cycles, stuck blaming everyone but herself. And if you're close to someone like that, guess what? She'll hold you back too. You can't grow alongside someone who refuses to grow. Self-reflection is a superpower. The ability to step back, examine yourself, and ask, how can I be better? That's what separates the strong from the weak. A woman committed to growth, she's unstoppable, because every challenge, every mistake, every setback becomes fuel for her to rise even higher. At the end of the day, this isn't about judgment, it's about clarity. It's about recognizing the behaviors, habits, and mindsets that lead to chaos, regret, and stagnation. We all have blind spots. We all have areas where we can do better. The Stoics believed that wisdom isn't something you have. It's something you practice every single day. And the key to that? Self-awareness. The moment you acknowledge where you're falling short, you take back control. You can't fix what you refuse to see. So take a moment, ask yourself, which of these 7 signs hit home for you? What's one thing you can change today to move toward wisdom, not foolishness? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if this sparked something inside you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Someone might need this message today. Stay wise, stay strong, and always keep growing. Thanks for tuning in to Stoic Heartbeat. Don't stop here. Subscribe, explore more of our content, and let's continue this Stoic journey together. Because life isn't about chasing approval. It's about living fully and letting attraction come naturally. Let's build a community of wisdom and peace. See you in the next video.